Welcome to this Advent devotional series. This is day 24 of our series. I am Reverend Lester Spees, and I have the privilege of serving as pastor at Memorial Lutheran Church in Glendale, Wisconsin. During this Advent season, I will be reflecting on some tough questions that come from Scripture and on some sacred spaces that have helped me to respond to those tough questions. Thank you for joining me in this journey. This devotion is for Tuesday, December 20th, 2022. And our tough question comes from John 9, verse 12. Where is Jesus? I love music in all of its various forms. I love listening to recorded music. I love listening to live music. I grew up in the church, and church music remains a favorite. But I also grew up with a dad who played fiddle and guitar and loved country and bluegrass music. Later in life, when someone would ask if I liked country music, since I grew up in Texas, I would usually respond with something like, I don't really listen to a lot of country music. I would then proceed to sing along with every song that would be played on the country radio station. Clearly, there was a disconnect there. So maybe I was a bigger fan than I realized. During my junior high school years, disco and easy listening were topping the charts and also my list of favorites. The first 45 single I ever bought was Hotline by the Silvers. The first album I purchased was the soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever. Anne Murray ultimately became my favorite artist. Before her retirement, I got to see her in concert 3 times. She did not disappoint. I own all of her albums. Fleetwood Mac, Dolly Parton, Garth Brooks, Prince, Amy Grant, Dan Fogelberg, Linda Ronstadt, Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift, Barbra Streisand, Donna Summer, Bruce Springsteen, Lady Gaga, with whom I share a birthday, Stevie Nicks, and Elton John all fit into the list of favorites as well. Their music, along with a list of other artists that is so large that I cannot fit it into this document, has entertained me over the years. It still does. When I was younger, I think that the only thing that really mattered to me was whether or not I could dance to the song. Church music was my primary source for inspiration. All other styles of music simply required catchy hooks and or sick beats. The words, if I could even hear or understand them, didn't matter all that much. That started to change for me in my college days. I'm not saying that the lyrics never mattered and that I was never inspired by music heard on the radio in my grade school days. However, I know that I became much more mindful of the lyrics of songs starting my freshman year at Texas Lutheran. At one of the Sunday morning worship services on campus during my freshman year, the pastor held what was called a contemporary listening service. Pastor Meyer was known for his creativity and his work to make worship and devotion relevant and thoughtful. I had no idea what a contemporary listening service might look like, but I was eager to attend worship when it happened. During the service, instead of singing traditional hymns, we listened to popular songs from popular artists, read the lyrics that were printed for us in the bulletin, so we didn't have to work too hard to understand the artist, and then reflected on what those lyrics might be inspiring us to do or to be. After that experience, I found I started to listen more carefully to the words of a song than I did in the past. I still like a song with sick beats. I still like a catchy tune that makes me want to dance. But since that first contemporary listening service at Texas Lutheran, I started to listen to music with a new appreciation for the inspiration that the words themselves brought, and perhaps for the lessons that they taught. I started to listen for the divine speaking through musical artists in ways that I never did before. And I have found, to my great surprise, that God does communicate to me through these unlikely sources. I started looking for the divine in music, in movies, and in television programs. And as a result, I started to find the divine in these and other forms of popular media pretty often. Decades later, I still find inspiration through these sources. It's not unusual to hear me quote a song lyric in a sermon, newsletter article, or educational event. Sometimes people ask me, does everything remind you of a song? The answer is always a resounding yes. And I'm okay with that. Music, in all of its many genres, continues to inspire and inform me. Sometimes it teaches me something new. Sometimes it calms my soul. Sometimes it makes me think. Sometimes it makes me want to dance. Sometimes it does all of those things at once. Often, when I'm looking for inspiration and direction in my life and ministry, I head to my bookshelf where I can find the divine word or information about the divine word in Holy Scripture, in church hymnals, or in theological commentaries. I give thanks for those critical resources in my faith journey. However, sometimes I skip all of those printed materials and I head over to my other bookshelf, the one with my vinyl records and CD collection. Sometimes those voices, those artists have helped me in the way that I needed it and at the time that I needed it. And I give thanks for those critical resources in my faith journey as well.